Well, the wrong team to watch at the wrong time. They took that watching you one sweater. Never.
Welcome, everybody.
Get the garage in.
In charge of the calendar agenda. Let's start with the children's stuff before we get into like let's do the easy stuff first, and then we'll get into the outside. But number 3, yes. So some of you guys already do this, but last night we had a monthly CMI board meeting, and I just wanted to remind you all that they are archived and available online. So I'm not saying you need to watch everyone, but I do think in terms of your leadership responsibility, it would behoove you somewhat to stay abreast of just the conversation that happens at those meetings. Even though you know what your colleagues are presenting and you have a gist of what will go on, there's oftentimes a whole other meeting that happens at the board level with the dynamic and just questions asked and things like that. And I just think it would help your leadership growth, and it'll just allow you also to kind of prepare your board and just, if you will, when you eventually have to present and things like that. So last night we had the high school grading scale went as an action item, and it was concerning the case, unanimously. Kept them up to date on just what's happening with all the incident campus training content with the office of learning at the secondary level. Told them that the main meeting would be the middle school scale being solidified, and I'm hoping by June that some sort of elementary continuum would be presented in terms of sort of this regiving mentioned block. A little bit of talk happened about the math curriculum stuff. I think the line with that is the board seems to be much the cool thing of it, the little work sessions that you feel complimentary in those for taking them through that, and he felt more knowledgeable and being able to speak to the resources and things like that. Overnight trip with Karen's World Languages crew. Lots of questions, but I think the teachers can, feel they've done well and handled that well. Steve was supposed to do her update, but there was a little bit of a snag on something happening with the posting of that on the board tonight. So unfortunately, she was not able to give her like another monthly update. So she can table her presentation for the May. So I think we'll go. This will go probably both science and world languages updates in May. And then we'll probably do her new course AP in June. There are some repeat stuff, but other than that, focus on one is able to mail, and that looks like maybe June. So, yeah, I know. Presentation is pretty cute. So yeah, just again a reminder that those are archived for you to watch. And
they have the link for that, and that's what we do for using that for our office.
I prefer the district website, but I think that's what it's for. Yeah, and then it's for the people.
And it's kind of tricky because it looks like it's as well. Every like 15 minutes or
It's
so.
like a commercial, right?
Yeah.
You can get air break and so on.
Time break.
Yep.
I just asked, do we check with Mary Jo for what's actually on the agenda?
Yeah, she has. She puts the board agenda as well as the next board agenda. So, yeah.
It's also posted on that board outside of Sue Edinburgh's office. Sometimes I'll go look there. Yeah. Okay. So, maybe the next position would be the May 22nd, 2 hours to be allotted for Wabasha preliminaries. Where we will
yeah, so Jason and I had all the 6-minute conversation 2 days ago, and he decided to tackle like 20 items in 6 minutes. We did pretty well. May 22nd is the 2 hours of time on that site day to do, 4 things. Number one, get them prepared to set up their teacher grade book in Complete Campus for the 15-16 school year. Now, they're not going to necessarily do it in that 2 hours, but they're going to have all the knowledge, etc. they need to be able to start that process so that when they leave June 12th, it's done. Microsoft Learning Syllabus or syllabi, there will be a template that we're asking all teachers and or course selects to fill out that have learning guidelines on there that everyone should be articulating at the secondary level very visibly, explicitly, and course syllabi. So that would be another thing for Microsoft Learning hopefully will be rolling out to them again so that they can take basically the last 3 weeks of the school year and to prepare those so that these aren't all startup things that are happening in August. They're going to be done really just before they go. We're just kind of pushing everything up 4 months. Two other things. I had spoken written there's a setting up of the grade book.
To the grade book, where you go standardized route or all of that infrastructure.
Yeah, and then the fourth thing is just resources. So I think by then we'll have a good start at least on some foundational resources now, which is kind of and those teachers have sifted through the Microsoft Learning documents, and we want to just keep a couple primary documents that parents have access to, principals, teachers, and kind of consolidate the list and just in user-friendly formats. And so we want to just make the teachers aware of what those sort of foundational resources are, and then make sure that they have access to those going into the summer as well. So I want us, hopefully, to be able to push into the schools that day, preferably the schools that we'll be working with in fall. So if Brian and Rachel are with North and Butler, just decide where you want to go for the day and split yourself so that at least have one coordinator in each of those buildings during that time. If I say 2 hours of time on May 22nd, that principal can put them anywhere in the day that they want. So somebody might do May 10th, somebody might, I don't know what they have planned already, but after I had this conversation with you all, and I was going to email them and can request that 2 hour time and just say, I don't care where you put it, but I need this and your, meaning the site and the campus courses and the Microsoft Learning courses will be December and everything. So we basically do their
I asked about, I know that used to be an exchange on May 22nd, and I know that only changed that some people had already had planned. Because I think that's why they tried it on the weekend, so for those people, this may be a small number, and then any new hires, or anybody that wasn't there, what's the plan to get that learning again during the summer time?
My expectation would be that those campus coaches and the W4L coaches will keep track of that because if I was the principal at North, I wouldn't be doing that all by myself. I would have a person to help them basically check off if people have their grade book set up and they do what they did in the fall, and then anyone that doesn't, they would touch base with, and that's just sort of their relationship with that relationship. I would imagine that. So that way everybody gets a if I did inside standard, one of the items we were standard for third,
You know how this year kind of had this hybrid, so we had using standards for that. We're thinking maybe in the other direction and open it up. But the teacher said I want to go to the couple of years and go that route. But if somebody wants to go to teacher and space committee in progress now, let them talk, let them get there. But be real clear on what that looks like, how to do that. May 6th and 13th are two super users in nights that Alan is already scheduled. They got to move into that work on those nights. So by the time we get to that, users are ready to do that. Just to figure out how to go on it.
and then the people are going to be ready to do it. You weren't? So our part, because I didn't see anything to the campus, but I would not know the version of how to help the teachers set up. Yeah, no, that's not just the not working on it.
My only question would be, East and WPA all deal with grade book. Would they be included in the curriculum or how? And I'm not even sure they have captains there in terms of campus captains. I know that WPA does. They do have a lot of stuff in there.
And I think the top percent of the campus and who's sending somebody. But to your
Is Kathy Miller still on there? Because last year she was saying there's a people who do anything campus.
If you're talking about the curriculum, I guess maybe I should just ask them for that is if they feel.
Yeah, and I'll be there for the WTA folks, and Sharon's going to be there, and I think you're busy with the systems.
Okay.
I haven't decided what I'm doing yet.
Yeah.
To your point though, in terms of our push-in model for next year,
Yeah.
Sharon was very receptive about obviously not having somebody designated there, but felt very comfortable to have still a responsive like on-call with the coordinator. So
And I just meant for this
This
particular
particular,
thing
yeah.
because Infinite Campus is something I never use, so I just don't have the skills.
no, I know. Yeah, right. I'll make sure that they don't have a
I shouldn't say. I never use it for grading.
yeah.
I use it all the time.
Agenda lady.
It's going to be the just proactive planning for 2015-16. I requested this on the calendar just because I remember most of us being new when we came in here and barely had an office. We were like, what are we doing? What's happening on August 26th to 28th? Who's going to communicate that to principals? I guess what I'm saying is, want to make sure that we have a solid start to the school year and that we're on a united front, especially I think with buildings. And what are those essential things that maybe we've forgotten about now that we need to maybe be proactive now so that come August, there's not a fight or a push or begging for time or anything like that in terms of the essentials to kick off the year, including any particular dates of things that we know we've come across this whole school year that we probably want to remember for next school year and beyond that are going to happen and plan for. So I'm going to share a document with you if you want to just jot down some things.
Okay. I was gonna say, I know part of what, when Sharon brought this up a week or two ago to put on the agenda, some of the new teacher, stuff was on there too, and I know the meeting we were supposed to have today got postponed to next Tuesday morning. Part of that meeting is going to be to talk about new teacher induction. We don't feel we've done as good of a job as we can with that. So that group that's getting together next Tuesday morning will be talking about, and it's mostly EE coaches, some coordinator. We'll be talking about first new teacher day, which we know the format has to change because the feedback told us that. So a group will be planning sort of what that new teacher day looks like, what just new teacher induction looks like from a formative rolling tide standpoint. A group will be working on that, so that we're not all like doubling and tripling the topics and things like that. So that's the purpose of that meeting next Tuesday. And
we're all
Bob
part of
and
that.
Sarah,
No,
not
You
everybody.
have
I
a certain
guess.
group, okay, because I had it on my calendar, because I think during that transition time, they canceled one meeting, but said we were having one the 21st.
Okay. I know Bob and Sarah Barrett are going to be running that meeting.
He came in this morning and he said he didn't want coordinators there. He just put the wrong group when he sent out the first invite. And that was why not all of us got it. That's probably so I would still plan on being there.
I'll leave it on my
And he said he was going to switch the 8 to 10.
During the 8 to 10 time, it was a block.
It was scheduled, yeah, that was on our original.
That was
schedule.
the last,
I
last
think
of the three
it's,
coaches
is
coordinator
it
meetings.
right
Because
at
it looked like it
8:30
was
to
the
9:30?
effectiveness
It's-
coaches
yeah.
for the secondary level, but then, I
Yeah.
mean, I saw a lot
But
of the
it's all,
coordinators,
it's all
but
elementary now.
Yeah, it's 8 to, I have it as 8 to 10.
So if you could place over that.
yeah, that's fine.
When is
We
it?
just didn't know.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Right,
Tuesday,
Next.
21st.
Tuesday.
I bet at 8:39.
Yeah,
They have
that was the
8 to
original,
10.
I think that was the meeting that's supposed to be today that we scheduled for that
Yeah.
time. We have another one, yeah.
Oh, you have it too.
I'm just gonna book 8 to
Yeah.
10, cause
I'm here.
the numbers.
Sure.
So Bob,
Is that the new teacher series development meeting?
Yes.
Is that what it
Yeah.
is?
Yes,
Okay.
got it?
No, Ann sure did and couldn't go, and so she sent to Bruce and I saying we should go
I
instead.
saw that this morning, yeah.
8:30 to 9:30 on the 21st.
Correct.
Where is it?
So it is something that in the beginning of this year, I know for those of us who are new to the position, that we requested from principals in like August, to help us kind of plan on attending PDs and supporting their work, was just what's your faculty meeting schedule? What are your, department meeting schedules? And I think we talked about this year, because of the way that we'll be working curriculum, that certain things next year, like we wanted standing things on the calendar before next year even starts, to say like, okay, this group is gonna be meeting this time frame.
Okay.
And is that, I feel like that's something we should probably put together before August to give to
Yeah, I'll take
principals.
care of that because I want that too from them. So I will request from secondary principals, faculty meeting dates, OTL dates, where else?
Conferences.
Conferences, PLC schedules,
Jason at
master
Butler
schedules.
sent a really great
Yes, he
summary with links out of everything.
Yeah.
If the principals can do that,
You have a copy of that I
I'll
can
send
see?
it to you right now.
Because otherwise, what I was envisioning is just literally a chart and everybody, the school name would be on the left-hand side, dates, and then you can all just access it from the
That'd be good
document.
too.
So, but send me that too, and if I can work off that, I will. So, yep, I need that too, because I like scheduling myself in at those things also.
Can I ask one more question?
Absolutely.
Sure then. With the new board policy for AP tasking, that you don't get the weighted grade unless you take the test, was it written into the policy that teachers need to put this in their syllabus, that at semester point, because obviously they won't have had the opportunity to take the test, they are given the weighted grade with the understanding that you will take the test, and then it's retracted if you decide not to take the test, or like,
That was not written into policy, nor will it be.
okay,
I think we need to talk about that. We need to talk about that.
okay, and then that, but that will be district-wide, like a
Yes,
common
yes.
guideline or policy.
That would be great to get in the syllabus.
Because yeah, teachers
Right,
are gonna,
syllabus
it'll have to go in.
syllabi.
yeah, syllabi,
syllabuses.
more than one teacher.
Even the counselors were asking that, how that would work, and we have to talk about that.
Okay.
Is that about AP?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it wasn't written in policy?
no, it wasn't written into
Not
policy,
that
that
part. You don't want to write that stuff in policy.
track the grade,
Right, I think
We want that
yeah.
in the syllabus.
Yes.
The lead professor.
yeah,
Okay.
So that's something that we can put as part of a guideline under the template.
those 2 PD days in August then, are those gonna be site days?
No idea.
Okay,
I know
So
she's
we
talking about,
established?
yeah, we haven't even touched that as a team, so I'll have to ask about that.
On the 26th and the 27th, is that the dates you're talking about? Or-
August, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only
Because
two
that's,
this year.
we talked about this at our Monday meeting with the special ed coordinators, and it looked like the 27th was showing that it was a coordinator, site and coordinator day. So we were trying to make sure that we got our teachers to put it on, so we wanted to find out what you guys were doing so that we could take it back to our group too.
I'll verify that, at our Friday touch point with the directors on this. It must be, if you saw that, it must be written on a calendar
It,
somewhere.
it's on
so-
Sarah's professional development
Okay.
plan for next year.
when that is discussed, just selfishly speaking, last year it was a 1 to 3 chunk, and it was, you could have all of your teams. And, in my time, I would much rather just say to each building, can I have an hour at your building with the teachers at high school level and 50 some people, but I'd rather not have like a 1 to 3, you get all your teachers, because that's very difficult when you like,
How does
especially
that
the
look
first
on
2
my
days.
calendar, Jill?
It was elementary and secondary
Okay.
kids. I think it was like, let me see if I can keep talking and I'll try to find
Yeah,
it.
it just said, it didn't give any details.
Yeah, okay.
But then how did you get to, so you would do like an hour at each building, but then buildings, we would have to all be on the same schedule because they wouldn't want to give your teachers.
Right, right. That's,
Okay.
and if not everybody wants to, I'm just, that's what I said selfishly, if that doesn't work for everybody else, I'll figure it out. I just know last year when we did that, it was one of those like, there was 70, like there was a lot of people in a room that,
Can I ask?
For the
you
October
what-
date you're talking
Can I ask, no, August. Can I
I don't
ask
know,
you for August what you even did for 2 hours when they're trying to get their rooms ready and everything was all panicked?
we did
We
that
did
in,
flybys.
we
August.
did
We
it in
just-
October,
yeah. Okay.
that's when it was.
Because I would just wonder
We just went to
what we
teachers'
would be
house.
doing in
Yeah.
August, simply because I know how I felt as a, I know how they felt as teachers, and I know how I felt. It's hard to do much.
I think it depends on the turnover too. I mean, I don't think we have as much turnover, and if we're hitting our, if we're greeting and meeting our brand new teachers, yeah, this is what you get. On August 10th, right? Is that the plan for next Tuesday when we meet with Bob and so I don't see us having to need a whole, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Unless you want to launch your
27th,
goal.
But again,
Well, I was
that's
thinking maybe in May to do that. I don't
I
know.
think those days, and I mean, I ran them as a coordinator too, we're trying to get away from the events, you guys know that. And so really, it shouldn't be, that day shouldn't be like any different because you probably talk to them in June, July, they already know your goal, they already know your vision, you don't have to like wrap it up in a bow and then unwrap it. So,
downstairs document, it says on the 27th that it's for coordinated professional development developed by sites and coordinators. Professional development meetings scheduled at sites, elementary sites, AM access to coordinators, secondary sites, PM access to coordinators, and that's all it says.
They,
Age of 4.
I'll try to pin down a little bit more specifics, we'll talk about that and I'll get that to you.
Since we only have 2 days, I would assume that I probably don't want to be in your face the first 2 days.
I wouldn't if I were you, no.
Right, I mean, they,
What I try to do is connect individually with each teacher in
Yeah,
my
right,
department
yeah.
during that time.
And that's what we did this past August. I think we just went to a building and I think Ron has to do a 5-minute. All I did was say, if you have anything for me, how can I support you? And the next part, they told it all to give. Ironically, at West, they cut me.
We just ran on crazy people trying to find out when they were open and not taking anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Just hit every
Yeah,
building.
that was the biggest.
Because their
that
schedule's
would be
pretty
nice is the meeting schedule for
that's
every
right,
school
we
in
like
one
had that
place.
whole
We had a
list,
matrix.
remember that?
Yes,
Yeah.
we did.
Yeah,
Figure it
but
out.
they
But we were
had
supposed to be
meetings
like
like
3
on those
different
days.
places.
Yeah,
it was
oh,
incredibly
yeah,
difficult.
No, I
Teachers
didn't,
are
I didn't follow that.
Yeah.
in one place, you're right,
But we
just
were all
on
pretty
one
much brand new
spreadsheet.
too.
So
and we
you
didn't
have
know
this
who
date,
we were
and you
meeting,
click
so
on
I
it.
think that
This
was
is
the
what
second.
Yeah,
Norm's
it's
doing.
one drawing there.
Yeah.
I think I'd come in that new teacher day.
All right, I think
Next we'll do
the
Christmas.
last item was how long we
Can I
thought it.
just ask, I didn't pick up on where UVDs are housed, where learning targets are DD9, are we supposed to?
That was a question I had about, this is supposed to be your PD that day. Where's the golden, like,
Which way you are.
if you have, well, you do a better job explaining it. That's where I got that idea from. Do we have moving into next year, are we going to have a common place where if you've got a new teacher, you point them here, or principals know that? Who's the first contact when they get hired, probably at the site. So I'm thinking more for new teachers, but really for everybody.
Where do you find, if you were a principal and hiring a teacher, and you need to get them their learning targets, common rubrics, where would you go if you couldn't connect it with what there's a question?
See, I see that as my job. I'm the one who wants to go there, I don't want a principal doing that.
But they should know where that is located though.
Yeah.
Principals
And
should.
that, yeah, I agree.
Well, I wouldn't have located on Blackboard,
Yeah, why would
Well, that's what
be on
I'm-
Blackboard, that's what I don't know.
I didn't know.
I'm trying to work.
And if it's not filled yet, that's a different to me answer than, like, it's not here yet, so here's what I can give you, and principals, here's where I'm housing it, maybe it's just a Google Doc right now. But Blackboard is eventually where, right, we want to house our.
I'm getting more mileage with the Google Docs, with having, because I have like all my learning targets and my learning target rubrics and all of that tied in one place.
But then to Jason's point, every principal better have that folder and have access to it. I don't want you to be the keeper of that. Everybody should have access.
I mean, if it's a summer, I'm thinking they'd probably go to their building first, and their principal's probably the first one they're in contact with.
I'm guessing, and I could look, I'm guessing I'm sure this is all principals, but it's what would principals be able to find it?
It's hard to
Labeled
find
it
it.
like CTE,
Yeah.
then I would just pull out my CTE folder and say, oh, here you go.
Yeah.
I can share it with you. There's all the course syllabi for the 62 classes they teach.
Maybe in district on their website, they just have on their grading stuff, you just go to learning targets and it has every course, and you can just click it and just have the list of the targets just in one place. Doesn't have the curriculum, doesn't have the curriculum with it.
We
But
will
just
have
have
that once we.
We'll have that if that's something we
Isn't
want.
there a lower plan under the doc that we shared out last time?
That's more, that was for Ally.
But talking about our website redevelopment,
Can we just take that doc and somehow get it? I mean, rather than doing that 4 different times, or just do it before. Yeah, but you're not attaching syllabi to that. No, but that's what the website would have, is course syllabus.
All the website has the course syllabus
Mhm.
inside.
And right now they
Check
just
out
have the
learning
targets, but as we update UDs, they could go, both could be there.
Yep.
You could biology, you
Yeah.
could both. And then drill down into the resources. to
I have no
Blackboard.
idea where we're at with that website, but I'm not gonna ask them to grow anytime soon, so. I have no idea our timeline on that.
I asked them, the response was build, whatever you want to build it in Word or build it in Docs, and when we're ready, we'll just click in. So it's coming, but it's not.
There was a site that Wendy put out there a couple of years ago, asking everyone to put their UDs in there, but nobody did. I'm serious.
Wow, we're not good.
I know Ally's got that, she's got that whole listing of folders, by content area, but I would think just having a DD9 site for a department, at least at the secondary level.
There's a folder called UDB documents and learning targets.
That's it.
Yeah.
But they're not labeled by course, they're all labeled by a course number.
No,
I
they're
know,
labeled,
that's what
there's a different folder than for each department.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all the
They're
UDs are by
all-
course number.
They're by
which I
course
don't know
number,
if
cause
that's
I pulled up my
every
social
one.
studies number of 50 and they're all numbers and I have to close it. I'm
Um,
not digging through this. Yeah.
Fortunately, I think in my area, they go in order, but you have to know what the starting one is. And they go every 2 minutes. Probably name them.
All right, cool. So the last thing on the first thing on the list, okay, maybe it didn't. Is L1 through 5. They use like the drum roll. They. So maybe articulating what 1 and 2 are. One of our paper scissors with 2 starts, or how do you want to do this?
I'll go.
Sweet.
I have to go over there and read it.
Okay.
Do you want me to read your reaction to, or just the L1 and L2?
Whatever you want.
So I agree with if teachers develop rigorous inquiry-based discussion and engage in scientific argument, teachers will develop critical thinking, communication, analysis skills, and learn important disciplinary core ideas. My L1 is through the use of argument-driven inquiry, 80% of all 8th grade students will demonstrate mastery on benchmark grading methods in science by the end of the 15th school year. And my L2 is argument-driven inquiry, which takes the CR framework, critical inquiries, and then the 3 ACT science skills. The main one.
That turned out really nice.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. And my idea will, I mean, the goal is specifically for the 8 to 9, but with reading standard, the argument one will be the way to help measure and see for them.
Is where your science was the pre And do your algebra at the time?
Yeah, those
Is
are
that-
ACT.
Those are the ACT strands and that you're, the science is gonna focus on,
No, those are the science ACTs, not the reading.
not the reading.
It's CER framework covers under that argument, reading standard. But yeah, you have to have data to be able to analyze before you can do any kind of claim. So,
So is science gonna use a ACT rubric?
yeah, we'll use the argument.
Yeah.
We can talk in the future about it, but prior to even getting to that point, you have to do your implications.
So I know we don't really have to talk about all 3, 4, 5 now, but I want to anyway because yours is pretty neatly packaged. It's very clear to me what that looks like. What L3 being professional development, and what are some of your ideas for your rolling tide for next school year?
This summer I'm starting with some eighth grade teachers. We're going to do a book study on how to do CER in middle school, and get some of them really on board and meeting in their buildings. And then hopefully in the fall, another wave of teachers doing that same book. Then hopefully, my goal is to have some sort of PET or PSI class on argumentative inquiry. But I don't know how or when that happens in clear system for me. And then 6th through 8th grade will be doing curricular work throughout the school year. Each building will have a person, and that will tie into how we're doing CER, how we incorporating argument in our
Okay. Okay. Your L4 talks about that data.
yes.
So what does your progress monitoring look like formatively?
I still need to figure out how we work with mechanics. So my idea was that they would tag
Okay.
their assignments with whatever processing skill or whatever communication skill that we're measuring, so that we could pull it out through. I don't know if that's possible yet.
Okay. Yeah.
So that way we could pull it in. And then with the high school, even though they're not part of the goal, but using that reading standard again, we'll be checking the argument.
Okay.
Right.
Would there be times in throughout the year, quarterly or such, where if I'm sure the tagging can happen in IC, but are there formative ways through PLCs that are analyzing student work that at any point in time, if I did your quarterly review with you in December, that you'd be able to show student evidence of learning? throughout?
Yeah, for the 8th grade, we're going to do quarterly benchmarks in writing. Good. But they're not really excited. But they're doing it.
Okay. Any questions or comments for Erica? Did you get any pushbacks and speak when you rolled this out? How did you roll this out to your teachers?
I've been slowly pushing CER and argument writing all year and finding key teachers here and there who've really taken on. Like West and North Science are full blown. Some of them already started it, so it was easy, especially at West because Laura brought CER with her, and her and I were kind of trained in the same way on it, so that's helpful. With the argument-driven inquiry, I took the idea of we have to do inquiry because that's what we're doing now with our district. We know we have to do literacy, but we can't lose our content science. If there's a way you can do all of it without doing 3 separate things. With middle school, I had to really say take pieces of this strategy because we know you have them every other day. You're not going to do a 7-day lab just to try to get all these in, but do an argument session one day or do a lab report one day.
So I'm thinking like way ahead, but I'm thinking that I want you as a leader to make sure that this thinking is visible. So either through like Connect or a blog, so people know like what the secondary science goals and vision are. I also wonder if we can get to a point, and this would be for everybody, but I'm just talking her because she's first. We can get to a point where we can have our teachers be able to articulate their personal stories through the vision too. So it's not just Erica putting the vision out there, but in November of next month, we have a group of teachers at Central that can speak to some of the student learning that's being collected, showing pictures of evidence, and they're posting something in Connect.
just again, that ownership and getting everybody on board, I think would be really valuable for everybody. So think about how, yeah, the vision starts with you and it's collaborative, and I get that, but how can we have, teachers contributing to that message and goal? Just continue to have that ownership. Who's next? We shared outline with everybody. Okay. I just sent so my outline, but you guys can read it since it's outline. Since I ran by this, perhaps. The biggest piece for me, I guess, was building this upon what I thought the Harvey work was going to be focused around this summer, which was gradual release of responsibility framework. Yeah. To guide. So provided that stays the focus and that stays, it shouldn't be new for teachers and it shouldn't be like a surprise and it should be reinforced through the building. If that language isn't a part of Institute, I'll probably change the language of You think so? I do, because I feel like the language of Institute continues to be like inquiry based or content specific literature. Sure. And this, it feels like two separate things, even though they're not. Right. It's going to feel that way, especially for teachers that maybe aren't going to get to dive deep into making the connections. But I don't know. My SMART goal, I don't have the numbers filled out because I'm waiting until spring to see. So one of them I can see is math that I want to wait until spring. And then using Aspire, UCT, the sophomores are taking the Aspire test in April, right? Yeah, pretty soon. Right. And so using that data and then UCT coming out and look at those results hopefully by summer. So be able to set a SMART goal around those results. Would it be just in the area of reading, writing, reading? Okay. If you look at the theory of action, the theory of action, the first kind of step was using the gradual release model to plan instruction. And the second was focusing on ACT reading strands and rubrics. High leverage practices, one is intentional planning, and this one's going to be a really interesting, so I met with the coaches and some of the admins to talk about what that looks like from a progress monitoring stance, and we really struggled because aside from collecting lesson plans and aside from making teachers maybe fill out like a scripted form, this was a tough one to monitor. At the same time, there's evidence that it's not happening. And so how do you make it something that we want all teachers doing? You're doing it, so I make you hand in your plans. You're not doing it. Like it's fuzzy. Yeah. And so one of the things that I talked about with the coaches and the admin was creating a walkthrough tool designed around that wheel over there. So if we had a walkthrough tool that when I walked into the room, I could easily identify what stage of the model you're in. To me, maybe that would give me that information, like you're planning in this model because it's clearly identified. Like I can tell which stage you're in, but we're still fuzzy on that, on how we're going to monitor that one. And then the second high leverage practice, I'll be honest, I haven't figured it out. I really want to keep it in line with what buildings are going to identify as their high leverage practice. West is looking at targeting vocabulary as itself as being one of their high leverage practices. I haven't heard from North yet. And so because I know that all of them, the 3 high schools and the 3 middle schools, will target a high leverage practice associated with literacy, I'd like for whatever my second one is to be in line with that, to not be something different. Good. And so once they figure that out, whether it's, I put in here the ones that we talked about, like questioning strategies, content literacy, that I really want it to line up and match so that it doesn't feel something new. So yeah, if you guys have ideas of how to progress monitor intentional planning, that would be, I would take them. Because that'll be, like I said, that'll be the hard one to measure.
When you say aside from it, meaning you don't want to do the first two that you mentioned, you just don't think those are.
No, I think that they're a value add. I think that they'll be a hard to sell. I
Sure.
think some of our strongest teachers are going to say to me, I don't fill out a lesson, like a template that you're looking for, but look at my club, like this is what I use. And so is it okay to say, you know what, I'm just going to do monthly lesson plan collections? And one of the ideas we threw around was, so gradual release, if you're not familiar with the model, is there's stages of how you design your instruction. So one of the things we talked about was, would it be feasible if teachers once a month, a course like submitted a lesson or a lesson planning template around that model, and they receive feedback monthly on one of those components. So like I noticed when you planned your mini lesson, this was what you focused on, and then give some feedback on one component, because when I think of 6-12 social studies English, I can't feasibly give them feedback, and I'm not going to ask them to submit something that I won't give them feedback on. And then I could drive my PD that month around that one component. So my PLC conversations, would be around that one component. But with that, we said, okay, but then it could be not until December that teachers are getting a focus on like the catch or, one of the later components of the model. So I don't not like the idea of collecting lesson plans, but the other piece to it is you could submit the best lesson plan and not really execute it. And so it's like you need to catch both ends, not only how did you plan that,
But you
How
can
did-
monitor the other end.
yeah,
What you're struggling with is the monitoring of
planning.
the planning.
Yeah.
And I think that is where you're going to have the hardest
Yeah.
sell, because we just haven't, that isn't, other districts, other schools, principals expect them on the desk by a certain day.
Yeah.
Is that your experience? I mean, that was my experience
That was my
too.
experience.
Yeah.
I mean, we're,
No,
Or you gotta know your mailbox.
if you're on a plan, typically you do have to turn in your plans.
Is
you
that
know.
consistent here? I mean,
Well, it was at North.
Okay.
Like if someone was put on a plan, you knew it. Everybody knew it because they're the only ones turning in lesson plans. Thank you, because I was freaking out.
Do you want to sit down?
So I mean, that's just
Yeah.
the truth is that.
But I like the concept of doing it once a month as a group of course
As a
alike,
course alike.
because that gives value to the discussion
Right.
as you talk. I mean, it's almost like doing the Japanese lessons.
Right.
So you
Lesson
study,
study.
yeah.
I've never heard anybody else talk about Japan lesson study. Can we hang out sometime? That would make you, that was my
Fred
thesis
Jonas,
statement.
he's the one who loves those collegial
Oh my
studies.
They're
gosh.
scaring me a little bit.
No, but that, I mean,
Yeah.
that there was power in doing that to get feedback
Well,
from each other. And
we
because
said-
then it's like, you did this in your lesson, I never would have thought of that, so heck, I'm gonna steal that
Yeah.
and do it in my lesson. So it's a way to learn from each other too.
And if we did them around, like if we said, because for humanities, 8th through 11th, we'll have common assessments next year. So if you did it around your quarterly common assessment, now maybe there's an even better tie. I just still worry a little bit about just giving them valuable feedback and not just it being like something that I have to do.
The other thing that I think with the power of that is that then you have those and you can have those kind of put in that Blackboard 9 site for a new teacher who comes in. These are sample lesson plans that you can use as you come in.
Yeah.
So it's there, to me, that would add the buy-in as that you're helping new teachers as they come into the district to be prepared.
I also wonder if there's model classrooms.
Yeah.
That would be the easiest way.
Absolutely.
do we just want that culture? For everybody? Or we know that Rachel be our new kid?
No, I mean, I know that schools have crossed it around, I don't think, I don't think I just say it has to be like that.
And to me,
For reasons.
I feel like this really fits humanities because this model goes hand in hand with the grade-based approach to instruction. And that was something we tossed around was, do we say for L1, designing instruction around an inquiry-based approach? Because that's what this is. It's just a different way it's gradual release is just the how to do it. And so that's not going to be new to humanities. And I think that for the most part, I think the biggest though, like we already do this, is what I'll hear more so that I don't want to do this, but that we already do this, which in that case, I guess that's a good problem to have. Well, now I'm just asking so that I can give you feedback.
I think that there was more of them giving each other feedback.
Yeah.
Last year, Rachel, and when we were trying to get at assessing problem solving with students, and we did it through writing and did it through, but we really arrived at the point that in order to assess that, we had to sit and listen to them solve the problem, or listen to a conversation. So I'm wondering, you can't be at every planning meeting, but I think there's two parts. There's the lesson planning piece that you can read, but there's also the actual conversation that occurs. And to me, that's like where the rubber meets the road. So I'm wondering about this model of recording meetings, with having teachers record a planning meeting that you could then listen to, you could offer feedback, and that there's an expectation that over the course of every 6 weeks, something that they needed to do that you could be embedded in that. And you go to some, but then there's still a record of that thinking. Maybe that would be a way to actually go to that part of it or monitor that a little more.
And what if we had, what if they showed up to this meeting or whatever and we just had them fill out like a Google form? That's basically your template.
Yeah.
And they do that right there.
PLC.
It's not something extra. Yeah, but
We used to have, when I came in the district 4 years ago, we had to do that. It was like you filled out here's what
but you would do that just with those select people, whoever you're asking to do this with, and then you've got it all in one form
and
to
that,
discuss right then and there. It's not
Yeah.
something that they have to do. Well, it is, but
and I should have been, I didn't put this in here and it's how cool, I mean, the culture of the school now, that I'm targeting for this goal, 8 through 11, that, those are the groups that will be deeply vested in A, either readiness, or B, they're gonna have a building next year. And Todd volunteered to come to my curriculum meetings, to help me out, so.
Oh, I can help those.
For my leadership around them,
He's like, you got your tax. I'm like, oh, but I almost passed out this time.
I thought you
because I'm the wobble.
were, should you be? Okay,
I'll come to you.
that's probably a good thing to sit on the good side.
Okay, so. If I move there, what does your stuff
Yeah. So I talked about Summer Institute, PLCs, TDP courses. Google, I would like to start that Google Plus community. Like Karen did. I have Twitter on there too. Twitter's totally changed my life this year. I don't know why. I was totally hated of Twitter. A year ago, I would not have been on Twitter. And I love Twitter now. And so I go back and forth because I'll be honest that in year one, I don't know that I am keeping up with Google Plus and Twitter. And so part of me wonders if I want like one or the other for next year. The weekly blog is like related specifically to gradual release and related to the high level strategy. We put NPTE as being something that since we're invested in going and we're going to be a part of that, I would like to put together a plan for the teachers who are going to be coming as well as for the admin or the leadership team was gonna be attending, and Emily and I talked about doing something like that. Same thing with WSRA, that since we're willing, CNI is willing to invest funds, that how can we leverage the people who go to that to own some of this work. And then this year, most of you guys know this already, but I started up a group with there's 15 teachers on it that are voluntarily without pay, reading Book Love by Penny Kittle, engaging in classroom walkthroughs of model classrooms for CLM. We're going to be reading Chris Devani's So What Do They Really Know? And it's all work that centers around the gradual release framework and moving toward a workshop approach. Thursday is the first book discussion about it right before break, and we have our next one coming up this coming Monday. And so using that group to kind of filter out to the larger group that Rachel's not trying to crucify the whole class read, nor is she trying to tell you that all of your kids is not. Just read whatever they want. If there's down, so there's instructions. So read it through that group.
One or two or five people. So email you a paragraph and what you get.
Yeah, and it's I shared with Jody I had a history teacher who read it, just had heard, she's like, I keep hearing people talking about this, and I'm sure it wasn't very talk. I want to see what all the fuss is on. And she read it, a history teacher, and within the next month, I got an email saying I fell in love with it. I finished it in the night, and I'm now doing literature circles with my history class because it's just as relevant for me as it is for English. And it's like in all caps, because yeah, it was very cool.
How can we share the successes with the other commentators? Because I keep getting a lot of negative comments towards workshop when middle school science teachers. Because obviously they're angry about their time, which I get. But they keep saying we haven't seen any data that it's working.
I mean, every
Look at their data
I
now.
was gonna say
And that's what I
every
said, but
every middle school, both this year and last year, had double-digit increases in reading and calculus. Every single one. Some of them had over 20% STEM. Let's call. I had to pull it up for the color in the corner was over 20%.
I think they went down.
Not in reading.
Are the schools sharing that with all their teachers?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Not just
But I wonder, in one thing that we did, the blogging might be a great place, and if we do this from time to time, is just grab somebody who that person you're just talking about and have them tell their story.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
Because they
absolutely.
don't do about it. I mean,
That's
at the
right.
end of the day, it's
And that was where, with this group that started, I think one of the most, you can already see it start to happen. I had to order 6 more books because teachers were like, can I get a copy? And it wasn't even like, I agree. It was just, can I get a copy? I'm hearing a lot about this. And it's not because I